Okay, so like everybody should know now that I have Apistogramma cockatoides babies, and with breeding and getting babies and stuff brought me into a whole new realm of the hobby, which was learning how to feed those little fry. And of course jumped out on YouTube and looked at some of my fellow aquarists and looked for them for some help, and I found that especially with the Apistogrammas, the fry really liked the Baby Brine. So I found a bunch of videos on how to put together these little hatcheries and got myself some eggs and decided to raise my own thing, my own batch of live food. And here is what we have. We have two hatcheries that I run side by side, stagger them in time so that when one is finished, the other one still has a couple feedings in it. At any rate, I did find a lot of videos on how to put these things together. There's a plethora of them, so I'm not going to really go over the construction of these hatcheries. It's pretty simple. You can just grab some old 2-liter bottles, cut the bottoms and the tops off and put them together and cap them, blah 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 blah. You could see that on YouTube. There's a million videos out there on how to do that. What I am going to do is show you, which I was not able to find online, was how to actually feed them once you got the eggs hatched and all that. So here's a quick video on that. It takes approximately 15 to 24 hours, depending on how warm it is in the room. The warmer, the faster the eggs will hatch. I usually give them approximately a day, or just shy of a day, 24 hours, to hatch, and before I draw the first time. And once you got your hatch, you can see my light here, which is normally up over the top, like that one is, to light the thing. You bring the light down towards the bottom of the container. You turn the air off, and what I am going to use is a turkey baster, and I am going to go into my hatchery with the turkey baster, and you can see it right there, and I am going to draw up some of these babies. You want to get pretty close to the bottom, but not quite all the way to the bottom, because the unhatched eggs are in the very bottom. Now I take it over and I have a brine shrimp net sitting on top of a cup, and I will release the catch into there, and you can see that that's quite a few right there, which is plenty. Now I take my catch, net, baster, and cup. Gotta love this Dr. Pepper cup. A little plug for Dr. Pepper. And it's kind of hard to do one-handed. I have another little cup here. Put a little water in it. This is not going to be easy to do, but well, without spilling the cup that you've strained everything through, take your net, run a little clean water over it, and then take your other cup. This is very hard to do one-handed. And stick your net down in there. Get the little shrimpies off. Now what I do here, that cleans them up, gets rid of the salt water. As I come in And waste not, want not. I take my net and just run it in the tank a little bit so that good to the last drop kind of stuff. Make sure I get all those babies. Of course, the majority of them are down in here in the water. And what I'm going to do is I am going to spill this in so that those babies can eat, and the rest of it goes in here. So that's basically how I do it, without, of course, the part about spilling the big cup that you strain the shrimp through. That wasn't supposed to happen. It's much easier when you got two hands up. And by the way, what I do is once I strain them over the big cup here, and you have the water from the original tank that you pulled, you take the net out, rinse them, plop them into the clean water, take them in and feed them the way I just showed you. Then you take this water here that came out of the catch bin and you can add it right back to your tank. And then you want to go ahead and turn your air back on to keep the little guys from dying. There we go. Air-wise, I just give it a little bit. Do not use an air stone. I tried it with an air stone, doesn't work as well. Right there, that is a cocktail straw stuck in the end of a piece of airline. You can get some of the, if you got the rigid tubing, which I just ordered some, so eventually I will be switching over to the rigid tubing going down in to let the air out. But you don't need real heavy aeration in these things. I heavily aerate when I first add the salt, just to mix the salt and the little pinch of baking soda in to get it all good mixed up first. But once I add the eggs in, I turn the air back down to a more or less a gentle, you can see the bubbling right there. Another reason for that is that if you get it bubbling too much, it tends to splatter up over and you got salt creep all up and down your container and all around it, and that's kind of messy. So we don't want that. So take the light, put it back up over it, like so. And that concludes today's lesson on how to feed your fry with Baby Brine. Thanks for watching.